In order to tell a beautiful story, raise your hand, and Rob will rush the microphone to you, and maybe we can answer. I'm not able to see, Rob, so you're just going to have to pick them out.
So what's up with you and your dad?
It's pretty incredible, actually. I mean, my dad is an amazing guy. He remarried. I have a half-brother who's 18. And in that conversation, he actually apologized for abandoning my sister and myself. And I was able to forgive him. And a very good friend of mine at home defines forgiveness as taking the burden that somebody has given you and living with it without holding them responsible. So it's not like everything's okay, but it's just I no longer hold you responsible. So I was able to forgive my dad. And we have a natural relationship that you would have after not having spoken for 30 years. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's, we're getting to know each other, I guess, is where we're at. This is very, very recent, actually, last couple of years.
So, where is that car chase in Passion of the Christ?
It's not there. I confess. Yeah, it's not there. It needed one. Would have made it timeless. Maybe a couple more? That one right here. Sorry, balcony.
It says nothing to do with the book. What's your favorite band?
My favorite what?
Band. Music.
Oh, man, there are so many. I couldn't list music in this book because there's so many that have become friends, right? U2 has always been incredible. Kings of Leon is a new great band. Actually, a band called Need to Breathe is phenomenal. Those guys are friends. They're a phenomenal band. And then I love all the 10 out of 10 guys. Matthew Perry Jones, Trick Dabs, all those guys are really, really great. I get the music question a lot. Yeah.
Do you believe in the entire Bible? It's a random question.
Well, I think I know what you mean, and I would say yes to that. But there's all sorts of presuppositions that are loaded inside of that question. And we would I'll tell you, the most conservative Bible scholars are still debating that question, what that actually means. And so, but for all intents and purposes, yes, I do.
You have 30 minutes at Starbucks with Jesus. What are you asking?
30 minutes at Starbucks with Jesus. What the hell are you doing at Starbucks? She is married with a child named Quinn, and we talk every couple of weeks. She lives in Seattle. We don't go longer than 3 months without seeing each other, and she's wonderful. She was the only person I was protective of when we were writing the screenplay. Don could do stupid things, Laura could do stupid things, but they would say, what if we had Penny do this? And I would say, no, she's fine. Leave her like she is. Yeah, she's an amazing person. And she's writing a book, by the way. Yeah, Penny's writing a book. I will make sure that you know about it when it comes out. Oh, I'm glad. Okay. How sweet you. I love Twitter. It's so fun. Yeah.
How do you wrestle or balance that need to jump into the conflict with the timing that's right to jump into the conflict? Does that question make sense?
A little bit. Could you give me maybe a little more specific?
Sure. You know that you are faced with a conflict. You think you should jump into it, but somehow the timing doesn't feel right. How do you wrestle or balance that out with its fear versus the timing?
Yeah. Well, I think we need wisdom. Right? I don't mean to say jump into something that's really crazy. You can make a lot of mistakes getting into a story. I think, though, that there's an idea that Stephen Pressfield talks about this in The War of Art. He talks about the existence of resistance. And whenever you want to do something that isn't beautiful for the world, it's always easy. And when you want to do something that's beautiful for the world, there is always resistance. And so he says, the cue to living meaningful, beautiful stories is to look for the resistance. And I try to live a little bit, at least, by those principles. And here's the thing. I would rather err jumping into the conflict too harshly or too early than err by not jumping into it. Because you're never going to get it perfectly. This book is not a formula for how to have a perfectly happy life. It's a formula for when the credits roll, you will be satisfied. It will have been meaningful, even though it may have been painful. Maybe one more?
Yeah, I won't get this exactly right, but Jesus said, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full, or different versions say it a different way, but is that something in what you're saying that we've kind of missed what he meant by that?
No, I believe that what he's saying is that at the wedding feast of the Lamb, you will have life and you will have it abundantly. Yeah, and if he doesn't mean that, then we need to redefine, or at least come to the table with honest presuppositions. Because what we don't mean, if Jesus meant that for us now, then we don't mean that to have life more abundantly means there's no physical pain, because obviously he was tortured, and so were his apostles. So they either didn't have life more abundantly, or they were going to have life more abundantly. You see what I'm saying? So we project on his statement that he's talking about now. And Paul actually uses the both and language. So he's talking about the wedding feast of the Lamb having happened. So you are here on earth and you are seated at the right hand of Christ. You see what I'm saying? It's done. The story is actually over and in the process at the same time. So C.S. Lewis says it's like a book, and God is outside the book, and all of the events in the book are happening at once, but he is outside the book. And do you see what I'm saying? And so I think that's where some of the confusion gets in. But there's no question that Paul's hope is for what is to come. And when we try to act like Jesus fulfills everything now, I think sometimes we're tempted to try to represent a product. Like, see the product work, so I'm going to deny hard things in my life. And we've all known people who do that, and I think it's dangerous, it's damaging. But I think what he's talking about is to come. It's forward thinking. Okay, I think that's it. And we're